Good evening, everyone. Welcome to iQuanta classes. So, in CAT before CAT series, today we are going to have our LRDI marathon class. So, tell me before we start, how is it going for you guys? Like all the sections VRC, Quant, LRDI, are you attempting mocks frequently? Are you reviewing them properly? So, what kinds of issues you are facing whenever you are trying to attempt those? क्योंकि देखो अब ज़्यादा दिन बचे हैं नहीं, अब 75 डेज हैं. वी नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट वी आर गिविंग आवर बेस्ट बिहाइंड दिस, राइट. बट हाँ, ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी तक अब आपकी प्रिपरेशन अच्छी नहीं हुई है सो आप बेटर नहीं कर सकते उससे. ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. ओके, so if you are in touch with syllabus but you did not work hard till now is the time. You can devote 8 to 6 hours of your time, 6 to 8 hours of your time, and get a good percentile, get a good result in all 3 sections and overall. अंकित सिंह, दिक्कत हो रही है, LRDI के 2 सेट नहीं हो पा रहे. अंकित, LRDI के 2 सेट नहीं हो पा रहे तो थोड़ा सा अपना अप्रोच चेंज करेंगे. ओके, ट्राई टू गो स्लो, cool and calm mind. Okay, LRDI takes lots of effort, but all those efforts could be wasted if you are solving those sets in a hurry, not with a calm mind. So try to go slow with the sets, try to write down all the information, try to check all the cases, and try to write down all the different kind of cases. If there are arrangements, so take those arrangements, do not leave any possibility. Then at max 12 to 15 minutes you will be able to solve any kind of sets. QA is getting me trouble, mocked. So mocked, एक बार पता करेंगे कि कौन सा पार्ट है QA का जो सबसे ज़्यादा ट्रबल कर रहा है. लाइक इफ़ इट इज़ अलजेब्रा और ज्योमेट्री और अरिथमेटिक. ओके, एंड देन बिफोर राइटिंग एनी सेक्शनल टेस्ट और मॉक्स, just try to cover those part again, try to solve 50 to 100 questions on those topic and then try mocks. All right, DI नहीं हो रहे हैं आदित्य, we are going to start with some really good DI sets. Okay, and then we will move to logical reasoning sets. So let's see how do we attempt them. ऋषभ, लास्ट बैच कब से स्टार्ट करें मॉक? ऋषभ, यू कैन स्टार्ट राइटिंग मॉक्स एज फॉर एक्सपीरियंस फॉर नाउ. ऑल्दो योर आई गेस 80% syllabus has been done, so you can start writing mocks. Do not expect too many scores, but you need to focus on strategy and get into that environment, get into that interface, so you can start writing mocks. Okay, and then analyze it later. DI फास्ट कैसे करें? तानिया, that's the problem. You don't need to make it fast. Okay, you just need to make it in right way. If you are trying to attempt DI in right way, you don't need to go fast. Okay, so read all the given information carefully, slowly. Okay, and then move to the questions. Okay, there is no hurry. Versus solving 2 sets in exam, you can expect anything up 98 plus percentile always. Okay, that also depends number of question in a set. So as per different patterns, it could be 5 sets of 4 questions each, or 4 sets of 5 questions each, or 2 sets of 6 questions, 2 sets of 4 questions. So that also depends on format of the sets. But if you are able to solve 2 sets completely, you can expect 98 plus percentile. Okay, एक्यूरेसी कैसे बढ़ाएं? सी, एक्यूरेसी का वही सीन है. इन केस ऑफ लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, इफ यू आर एबल टू take all the cases properly, then you will get all correct, right? But in case of data interpretation sets, there are some calculation involved, which if you do some mistake, you can land on different options or maybe incorrect answer. So in those conditions, try to use those calculator given on screen. Okay, if you are not very good with calculation, so try to avoid calculation mistake. If there is any logical mistake, then it's different, but try to avoid calculation mistake, because that means you have understood the set, you have solved the question, but you have done some calculation mistake that is totally unnecessary. All right, so try to avoid this. Use calculator if required. So let's start with the set. What do you say? Shall we? So I am going to start a basic DI set. Okay, let's start with this set. You have 6 minutes to solve this one, and then we will discuss it. Okay. श्रुति सेट समझ तो आ रहे हैं, बन नहीं रहे हैं. That means you have not attempted enough sets. Okay, you should be solving at least 3-4 sets every day if you want to reach that point where you can attempt every kind of set. वेन डायग्राम ऊपर से जा रहा है तो थोड़ा और ऊपर कर लेंगे खुद को. थोड़ा वेन डायग्राम से ऊपर चले जाओ, पढ़ो वेन डायग्राम थ्योरी अच्छे से, कॉन्सेप्ट अच्छे से, सेट सॉल्व करो उस पर. ऐसे कैसे ऊपर से चला जाएगा? इतने सारे लोग हैं, उन्हें समझ में आ रहा है ना. सो डेफिनेटली इट्स नॉट रॉकेट साइंस. सो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द बेसिक्स ऑफ वेन डायग्राम. ऑलराइट, एंड ट्राई टू अवॉइड अननेसेसरी डिफिकल्ट प्रॉब्लम्स. देयर आर सो मेनी unnecessary difficult sets based on Venn diagram is being given in mocks and other contents. So you should be avoiding that. Check CAT previous year question based on Venn diagram, and stop spamming the comment section. Titan Gaming, एक तो नाम ढंग से रखा करो. If you are interested in this, it looks like you are someone was playing PUBG और कोई और गेम, और जस्ट अचानक से LRDI की क्लास लेने आ गए. Previous year questions you can start 2017 onwards, because 2017 onwards those are real sets. Okay, before that CAT was not providing those sets. So 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, you should be solving those sets. Shraddha, yes, this video will be available on channel later. Yes, you can access it later. Khushi, important topics in LRDIs are like sets based on average mixture allegation, sets based on tournaments, sets based on Venn diagram, sets based on distribution, and bar graphs. These have been popular ones in recent years. ऋषिका, मॉक्स में सेट कैसे सेलेक्ट करें? अगर स्टार्ट में समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, सो ट्राई टू गिव योर 8 to 10 minutes ऑफ टाइम टू सेलेक्ट दो सेट्स. ओके, ट्राई टू रीड ऑल द सेट्स प्रॉपरली. ओके, इफ यू आर चूजिंग रॉन्ग सेट्स ऑल द टाइम, so it won't be helpful, right? So try to spend more and more time while choosing the sets. You will see that time will reduce with number of attempts. So initially if it requires 8 to 10 minutes or 12 minutes to read all the sets properly and choose the correct set to start with, so use that time. All right. Ozul, we have already started. This is for students to attempt for 5-6 minutes, then I will discuss. Osama bin Laden, missing you, sir. I hope no FBI agent is watching us right now. Osama bin Laden, I don't know you. Please don't try to contact me again. All right, let's discuss this set now. All right. So it says in the year 2020-21, value of exports of manufactured article exceeds the value of exports of raw material by 100%. So in 2021, value of exports of manufactured article exceeds the value of exports of raw material by 100%. That means this value is double of this value. 100% means itself, right? So this value, if we take this value as x, if we take this value as x, this value will be 2x. So 2x is 100% more than x. Now it says in 2021-22, the ratio of percentage of exports of raw material to that of export of manufactured articles 3:4. So total this is 23%. So 100 minus 23% will give us 77%. Now if you break them into 3:4 ratio, it will be 33% and 44%. So we can say this value is 33% of total and this value is 44% of total. Next, it says exports of food in 2021-22 exceed the 2020-21 figure by 1006 crore. So if this value is y, this value is y plus 1006. We need to find these values. We can find out these values. 23%. First we will find 23% of 25800, which will be equal to, so 258 into 3, 750 plus 24, 774, carry 77. 258 into 2 is 516. So 516 plus 77, it's 593. So this value is 5934. We will put it there, 5934. Now y should be 5934. Y will be equal to 5934 minus 1006. So this is 28. This will be 4928. So this value y is equal to 4928, right? 4928. And rest we can find out. So 22400 minus 4928. 22400 minus 5000 will be 17400 plus 72. So this will be 17472. Okay, 17472. Now we need to break this value into 2:1, right? So divide it by 3. 17472 divided by 3 will be equal to, this is 5 times 8 times 24. So 5824. This value is 5824. So this value will be 11648. Similarly, we can use 44% of this and 33% of this to find out this value, right? So now we can find all the values. This will be our final table. This will be our all the values, final values. Now let's solve this question. First question, it says in 2020-21, what percent of total values of export accounts for items related to food? What percent of total values of export accounts for related to food in 2021? 2021 food, this is 22%. D is the correct answer. Okay. Next question, it says during 2021, how much more raw materials than food was exported? Raw materials minus food, 5824 minus 4928, right? So this will be 96 and 57 minus this is 8. So answer is B, 896 crores. How is 3:4 of 77%? Varsha, these two values are 3:4. As you can see here, that the ratio of percentage of export of raw materials to that of export of manufactured article is 3:4. These two values are in 3:4. If this is 3A, this is 4A according to question, as per percentage value of this, the percentage share of this. This is 23%. So these two must be 77%. So if you break 77% into 3:4 ratio, this will be 33, this will be 44%. So answer of second question is B. Third, value of exports of raw materials during 2021. Raw materials during 2021, this value was how much percent less than this value? So let's see. 8514 minus 5824 divided by 8514 into 100. This will be our required percentage value, right? How much is this? So 14 minus 24 is 90. 84 minus 56 is 26 divided by 8514 into 100. Now you can see 10% of 8514 will be 851.4 and this value is almost triple. So 30% of 8514 will be, this is 3 times 2, 42 and 5, 25. So 2554.2, this is 30%. 30% is 2554.2. This value must be closest to 30%. The closest value to 30% is D. You don't need to calculate exact, but you can use the calculator if you want to calculate the exact value. Okay. Yes, if percentage in 3:4 ratio, that ensure value will also be in the same ratio. Yes, correct. All right. Now, fourth question, the change in value of export in manufacturing article from 21 to 22. So change in this value to this value. 11,648 minus 11,352. So this is again 96 and this is 296 crore, which is A. Answer for fourth is A. Yes, Jayant, options help करते हैं. You can avoid unnecessary calculation. Though calculator has been given, but you can also avoid that. Using some little bit of approximation and logic, you can avoid it. Gamer Star. Arun Sharma book is like very old. I don't know if they are updating it or not with recent previous year questions and new type of sets. Those books has been there for last some years. Okay, so what you need is updated content. So you should be looking for updated content. We have updated at least 500 LRDI sets on our dashboard in this year only, apart from IMABC sets. You can go for that. All right. So we are done with this set. Now I'm going to increase the level a little bit. It could be a little confusing. The language of this set could be a little confusing, but it's a really good set. If you understand it properly, it could be a very easy set for you guys. Okay. So ready for the next set, guys? Yes, Kopal, you can use calculator. There will be on-screen calculator, so you can use that. Ready? All right, let's try this one. Let's try this set, a very good set, little bit time taking. You have 8 minutes for this. Okay, so try this. Sakchat, no, you cannot take scientific calculator to exam. No. Gamer star. As I have already told you that no book as per today is relevant. All the books are very outdated. All the books has been printed 10 years before, and with little bit of changes they are printing it again and again. So at this time you should be looking at something, those are updating their content every year. Okay, so the best advice I can give you is you can enroll for iQuanta crash course, where you get instant access to iQuanta dashboard, where you will have lots of new content that we have updated this year, like at least 500 sets and 3000 questions in arithmetic and similar in VARC. Okay, apart from that you are also going to get 2 months of rigorous practice with us, live classes, application classes, and then you will get 70 LRDI sets by Indra, a totally different content of LRDI to boost your practice. So any of you, if you are not enrolled with us and you are looking to boost up your preparation, you can join us. Fee is very minimal. Okay, so let's discuss this set, or do you need more time? Have you attempted all 4 questions, guys? Discussion or more time? Nishant, you can join crash course, or you can also join last batch. If you join last batch, crash course will be added in there automatically. Okay, so you get extra classes also. Okay, so it's your choice. More time, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, done, 5 minutes. Okay, I'll give you 2 more minutes and then I will discuss it. All right, let's discuss it at 3:35 p.m. क्रैश कोर्स में प्रैक्टिस कैसे होंगे क्वेश्चंस? यस, जैसे यूजुअली होता है 7 to 9 देर विल बी लाइव क्लासेस. ओके, एटलीस्ट 4 क्लासेस पर वीक, 4 लाइव क्लासेस एटलीस्ट पर वीक, एंड देन application classes 10 to 12 p.m. Apart from that, you will have access to all the content of iQuanta. Okay, and then some marathon classes at the end of the session. Like in last 2 weeks, we will have workshops, and then we will have LRDI marathon, quant all formula revision, and then VARC marathon. Okay, guys. So let's discuss this now one by one. First question, it says 6 friends Amar, Bimal, Chirag, Divya, Isha and Fatima bought a certain number of dragon fruits, kiwis, avocados, pears and strawberries. Okay, and coconuts also. Coconuts is missing there, but it should be coconut also. The fruits bought by friends also contain certain number of rotten fruits. The following table provides information about ratio of number of fresh fruits bought to the number of rotten fruits bought by 6 friends. So this ratio is fresh fruits is to rotten fruits. Okay, Divya Kumar, crash course will start 3rd week of September. Okay, classes time 7 to 9 p.m. live classes, 10 to 12 application classes. Now, first question it says, which of the following cannot be the total number of fresh kiwis bought by all the 6 friends? So, if you talk about fresh kiwis, in terms of Amar, it could be anything 5x, multiple of 5. In case of Bimal, it will be 3y. 2z, multiple of 2 in case of Chirag. And W in case of Divya. In case of Isa, let's say it is 5a. And in case of Fatima, it will be B. So, total number of fresh kiwis bought by all 6 friends will be this. If you take all the values, all the multiplier as 1, so 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1, this is equal to 17. So, minimum 17 fruits or 17 fresh fruits are bought by all the 6 friends. So, anything more than 17 are possible. Instead of taking this 1, if I take 2, this will become 18. Instead of taking this 5, I take 10, then this will become 22. So, all the numbers are possible more than or equal to 17, but 15 is not possible, which is option D. Okay. Next question says the total number of fruits bought by all the friends is 431. Then find the number of fruits bought by Amar. So, this is a very interesting question, and for this you will have to do some hard work. Like if you add all these numbers, you will get total sum is equal to 429. Okay, if you add all these numbers, you get total fruits bought by them 429. That means in each case we are taking the actual value as a ratio. So we get 429, but it says 431. So there is a difference of 2. Where can we get the difference of 2? Can you tell me where do we get difference of 2? To make this 429 to 431, where do we make the difference? Where do we make the change? No, this sum is 429. According to question, it's 431. So all the values, it means all the values, we are very close to this number. If you add all this, we get 429. That means there is a difference of 2. So we are taking all the value as same, but instead of taking this 1:1, if you take 2:2, there is an increase of 2 fruits. Only there is an increase of 2 fruits. So all the values are same as ratio, but in this case only it will be 2:2. Then it will become 431. So question is, find the number of fruits bought by Amar. So this will be 8 plus 3 11 plus 9 20 plus 10 30 plus 6 36 plus 4. This is not 2, this will be 4. So total it will be 40. If you add all this, we get total is equal to 8 plus 3 plus 9 plus 10 plus 6 plus 4. This will be equal to 20, 30, 40. So our answer is option C, 40. Alright, so you can see you will have to add these numbers, okay, and you will have to do it yourself. If you use calculator here, it could take some time. You can do it faster than calculator. Well, you will take some time in typing also, right? And you will have to do that by using only mouse. In on-screen calculator, only mouse will work. Dalvinder, as I said, you need to add all these numbers. Then you get 429. Okay. Like Amar has bought 8 kiwis. Bimal has bought 8 kiwis. Okay. Chirag has bought 3. Divya has bought 4. Isha has bought 24. Fatima has bought 8. So basically we are taking actual value as this ratio. Question number 3, it says, if the number of coconuts and the number of dragon fruits bought by Amar is same, and this is true for all the other friends except Fatima, except Fatima. Number of coconut fruits and number of dragon fruits bought by each friend are equal. Then the total number of rotten dragon fruits is at least. So see, number of dragon fruit bought by Amar must be multiple of 3, right? Must be multiple of 3, and number of coconut bought by Amar must be multiple of 10. Similarly, number of dragon fruit bought by Bimal must be multiple of 9, and this must be multiple of 5. For Chirag, it will be 15E and 20F. For Divya, number of dragon fruits bought 18G, and this will be H, 5H. In case of Icha, it will be 3I and 5J. But in case of Fatima, this will be same. Okay, in case of Fatima. Now see, what value we should take so that these two are equal. Can we say we should take LCM of these? The minimum in each case that bought is 30. This will be 30. 9 into 5, this must be 45. This must be 20 and 15 LCM. This will be 60. This will be LCM of 18 and 5, which is 90. This will be 15. So number of dragon and coconut fruits bought by each friend minimum will be this. Chiranjeev, if you check, no other ratio has 1:1. If you make 1:1 as actual value 2:2, there is an increase of 2. But if you take any other value like 2:1, so for 2:1 you will have to make 4:2, right, at least. Then there is an increase of 3 fruits. Okay, so that's why, Khushi, that's why I have repeated that. Only strawberry for Amar, actual value instead of 1:1, if you take 2:2, the total sum will become 431. No other ratio will do that. So this should be the minimum number of fruits, minimum number of dragon and coconut fruits. This is 30, this is 45. These two values should be equal, right? Now it says find the total number of rotten dragon fruits is at least total number of rotten. So 3A, this is 10 times, right? 10 times. So this will be 20. 7, this is 9 into 5, 45. So this will be 35. 15 into 4, 60. So this must be 44 rotten dragon fruits. 18 into 5, 90. So 5 into 5, this must be 25. 1, this is 3 into 5. So this must be 5. And in case of Fatima, we will take as it is. We don't need to make them equal. So total, if you add them, total number of rotten dragon fruits bought 20 plus 35 plus 44 plus 25 plus 5 plus 7. This will be equal to 55 plus 44, 99, 124 and 12, 136. So answer is option B. 15 और 20 का LCM 60 और क्या होगा? 15 और 20 का LCM 60 होगा ना, तो least common multiple, if you want to make them equal, what value you will choose? A number which is a multiple of 15, also a multiple of 20. So 60. So question number 3 answer is 136. All right. Let's move on to the next question, last question of this set. It says, if the ratio of the number of pairs bought by Bimal and Divya is 5:17, so number of pairs bought by Bimal and Divya, then which of the following can be the total number of rotten pairs bought by Bimal and Divya? So total number of pairs bought by Bimal pair, this is 2:1, and for Divya it's 13:2. So let's say if this will be 3x, 2 plus 1, 3x. So 3 or Bimal, so 3b is equal to 13 plus 2, 15D, or we can say B upon D will be equal to 15 upon 3. This is what we have according to question, right? Wait a second, these are not equal according to question. The ratio is 3B upon 15D is equal to 5 by 17, or we can say B upon D will be equal to 75 upon 51, right? 75 upon 51, which is 25 by 17. Am I correct? Check this. B upon D is nothing but 75 upon 51, which is 25 upon 70. This is the ratio of number of total B upon D. We have taken this is as 2B and B. This will be 2B is to B. This will be 13D is to 2D. Okay. So according to question, B upon D will be 25 by 70. Now what does it say? It says number of rotten pear bought by Bimal and Divya. So rotten pear will be number of rotten pears bought by Bimal and Divya will be equal to B plus 2D. B plus 2D, right? Now if you take this as 25x and this is 17x, so this will be 25x plus 34x, which is equal to 59x. So this must be multiple of 59. So total number, this number must be multiple of 59. If you check from options, only B is multiple of 59. 59 into 6 is 236. So that's why our answer is option B. No, we need to find, we have two rotten fruits. We have to find the rotten fruits bought by Bimal and Divya, not all. Okay, because for rest of them we don't have any relation. सक्षम 17 कैसे आया? You can cancel out this 3 into 5 times 25 upon 17. 5 is to 17 is given in the question. Okay, 5 into 4, yes, this will be 5 into 4. 59 into 4 is 236. Avinav Pandey, if you are part of IMABC, you can solve those sets at your convenient. Okay, it's not necessary to solve that set only when those are being done. Okay, you can solve those sets as per your time. Okay, now let's try the next set. Let's try this one now. थर्टी x d is equal to 17x हमने लिया है. B is equal to B upon D is 25 upon 17. So B will be 25x and D will be 17x. So total rotten fruits bought by Bimal and Divya is B plus 2D. B is 25x and 2D will be 34x. That's why 59x in total. Burn last batch classes will be done before we start crash course. Okay, both the classes won't be going simultaneously. Okay, we are finished with last batch, then we will start crash course. Couple, all the rules and regulation will be given on the admit card once you receive it. Okay, all the rules and regulation will be given on admit card, what you can take with you, what you cannot take with you. Okay, so don't worry about that, you will have ample of time to prepare for it. Akash distributed, actually this should be distributed 10 acres land. Ankit is a different person, Jayant. Let's discuss this set now. It says Akash distributed 10 acres land to Yogesh and Ankit, who paid him total amount in the ratio 2:3. Yogesh invested a further 2 lakh rupees. So basically, total investment, what will be the total investment made by both of them will be 10 plus 2, which is 12 lakhs. Initially, they invested in 4 lakhs and 6 lakhs, right? But later, Yogesh had invested 2 more lakhs. So basically, we can say Yogesh have invested 6 lakhs and Ankit have also invested 6 lakhs. Both at this point, both of them have invested equal amount. Now it says, and they planted papaya and orange trees in the ratio 5:1 on equal area of land. So basically, papaya was planted. We can say papaya was planted in 5 acres of land and orange was also planted 5 acre of land on equal areas. Also it says orange trees in 5:1 ratio, and it's given in the question that there were a total of 100 orange trees. So if these are 100 trees, this must be 500 trees, right? This must be 500 trees. Now it says the crop took 7 years to mature. When the crop was reaped in 2023, the total revenue generation was 25% of total amount put in by Yogesh and Ankit. So we can say total profit, or you can say this revenue is nothing but profit or total revenue. Okay, so total revenue generated is 25% of 12 lakhs, which is equal to 3 lakhs rupees. Now, the revenue generated from papaya and orange tree was in the ratio 3:2. So, if you break this into 3:2, if you break 3 lakhs into 3:2 ratio, 3:2, this will be 1.8 lakhs, this will be 1.2 lakhs, and 1.8 lakhs is for papaya tree, this 1.8 lakhs, and this was 1.2 lakhs. And it was shared equally by Yogesh and Ankit, as the initial amount by them were equal. See, initial amount equal. Someone was asking, how did I get 10 lakhs? See, it says initial amount spent by them were equal. What was the initial amount spent by them? Yogesh had invested 2x plus 2 lakhs and Ankit had invested 3x. So these two are equal, or you can say x is equal to 2 lakhs. If x is equal to 2 lakhs, 5x will be equal to 10 lakhs. So I thought if you had solved this question, you must have known using this concept that initially they had invested 10 lakhs. Then only this is true, that initial amount spent by them were equal. Okay, so output is nothing but revenue generated. Yes, Jatin, Yogesh is putting 2 lakhs extra. Initially Yogesh had invested 4 lakhs, okay, and Ankit had invested 6 lakhs, but later Yogesh had invested 2 lakhs more. So now both of them have invested equal amount. Okay, orange 1 acre, no, that is not true, Siddharth. Orange, it says equal on equal areas. Okay, in the land they planted papaya and orange trees in the ratio of 5:1. This is quantity, number of trees for papaya and orange on equal areas. So equal areas, initially it was 10 acres, so 5 acre for this one, 5 acre for this one. Now let's check out those questions one by one. What was the value of output per acre of papaya trees planted? So output per acre, so there was 5 acre, total output was 1.8 lakh by 5. So this is nothing but 36,000. Option C. What was the value of output per acre orange tree planted? So 1.2 lakhs divided by 5, which is equal to 0.24 lakhs, right? 0.24 lakhs. So option A. What was the amount received by Yogesh in the year 2023? Amount received by Yogesh in the 2023 was 1.8, total half of 3 lakhs. 3 lakh by 2, which is equal to 1.5 lakhs. Option A. What was the value of output per tree for papaya tree? So value output per, for papaya it was 1.8 lakhs, right? For papaya tree it was 1.8 lakhs. 1.8 lakhs divided by 500. 1.8 lakhs divided by 500. Okay. So what is this value? 1.8 lakhs divided by 500. Tell me. Is it 36? Is it 240? Is it 360? Or is it none of these? What's the value? 1,80,000 divided by 500. There were total 500 papaya trees, right? What's this value? 36, 360, 3.6, 3600. What's this value? It's 360. Yes, C is the correct answer. Now, what was the ratio of yield per acre of land for papaya and orange in terms of number of oranges and papaya? What was your answer for question number 5? Tell me guys, what was your answer for question number 5? But do not spam the comment section. That too with wrong answer. One comment is more than enough. Third question, what was the amount received by Yogesh in the year 2023? Total revenue generated was 3 lakhs. And those 3 lakhs will be distributed equally into Yogesh and Ankit, because initially both of them had invested equally. So it's 3 lakhs upon 2. So 1.5 lakhs. Yes, answer for last question is D. Why? Because we don't know anything about number of orange or papaya generated, right? We don't know anything about, we know the number of trees of oranges and papaya, but number of oranges or number of papaya per tree could be different, right? So we don't know anything about that. So answer is D. All right. So now we are going to, Siddharth, I have already explained question number 3. Total revenue generated was 3 lakhs. As Ankit and Yogesh both had invested equal amount, those 3 lakhs will be divided into 2%. 1.5 lakhs by Yogesh, 1.5 lakhs by Ankit. So what was the amount received by Yogesh? 3 lakhs upon 2 lakhs, which is 1.5 lakhs. Sure. Now we are going to discuss a very, very interesting logical reasoning set. Okay. For that, you need to have a fresh mind. Let me know when you are ready. Okay. Till then, I will read your comments. It's not a very difficult question, but it's a very interesting. Previous slide, this one. This is the previous slide. Siddharth, what is the correct method? You can take just multiplier of x. If a by b is equal to 2 by 3, take a is equal to 2x, b is equal to 3x. That's the best way. Sure. Okay, lots of you are ready now. So let's try this question. ओके, क्या हो रहा है यहाँ? क्या किसी का नहीं सॉल्व हो रहा? और टाइम चाहिए या डिस्कस कर लें? इतना भी डिफिकल्ट नहीं है, देखना हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, यू विल सी दैट इट्स नॉट दैट डिफिकल्ट, इट्स जस्ट अबाउट द अप्रोच. एक फर्स्ट लाइन स्टार्ट करनी है, उसके बाद काफ़ी इजी हो जाता है. स्किप. चलो चलो डिस्कस करते हैं, बीच बीच में हम आराम से डिस्कस करके सॉल्व करेंगे इस सेट को. सो वी नो दैट दीज आर द नंबर्स गिवन बाय देम. Sachin and his wife Anjali throw a dinner party and invite 4 other married couples, Mrs. and Mr. P, Mrs. and Mr. Q, Mrs. and Mr. R, Mrs. and Mr. T. Once everyone arrives, various people shake hands. No person shakes hand with himself, and no married couple shakes hand with each other. This is very important. Sachin asked his wife and everyone else at the party that with how many people did they shook hand with, and is shocked to find out that every answer he received was different. Every answer he received was different. Following table lists the answer given by some of them. So basically, if all the answers are different, the numbers must be from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The maximum number of handshakes anyone could do was 8. The minimum number of handshakes anyone could have done was 0. Is this clear to everyone? If it says all the numbers are distinct, means number of handshakes, answers given by these 9 person must be from 0 to 8. Is this clear to everyone? Is this understandable or not? That those numbers must be from 0 to 8. These answers must be from 0 to 8. Yes? Yes? Okay. Now let's read the statements. It says, it is also known that everyone in the party either always lie or always tells the truth. Okay. So basically, if there are multiple statements, Sahil, how is 0 handshakes possible? You don't handshake with anyone. That's how 0 handshake is possible. Okay. So everyone in the party either always lie or always tells the truth. That means that if someone has made 2 statements, then both of them are either lies or both of them are truths. Now, some ladies always lie, but men always tell the truth. Now, I know this statement could be little offensive to someone, but this is not by me. I was taking the reverse. Abhishek sir suggested that it should be like this, then people will like it. Even ladies will like it. Okay, Mr. Q had more handshakes than Mr. R. Also in the party, Mrs. R said Anjali is lying about the number of handshakes. Okay. Then it is known that every one of the 9 people who answered actually shook hand with a different number of person. Okay, so all the numbers are different. Maximum 8 cases. Siddharth, there are 10 person in the party. You are not handshaking with yourself. You are not handshaking with your wife. So 8 person remaining. So maximum handshake must be 8. Okay. चलो अभी स्टार्ट करते हैं. What do we know about men? They always tell the truth. Truth, 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 truth. About Anjali we don't know. About these 4 we don't know. Either they are lying or telling the truth. So if we start with Mr. P, if we start with Mr. P, with whom Mr. P hand shook with, can we say it must be 8%? Mr. P did not shook hand with himself and Mr. P did not hand shook with Mrs. P, right? Mr. P must have hand shook with remaining of the person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can we say this? Handshakes 8 possible here. You can check that. Mr. P is not handshaking with himself. Mr. P not Mrs. with and Mrs. P. So remaining 8% he handshook with. Ishan, someone could be. This is how it's possible. Okay, let's check here. Is this true or not? Tell me. Mr. P is telling the truth that he shook hand with 8%. Okay, green is not visible. Okay, I will take some other color. Let's take black. So Mr. P did not handshake with himself and his wife. So rest 8 of the remaining person he must have handshook with, because men always tell the truth. Okay, men always tell the truth. So these are the 8% Mr. P handshook with. Is this correct? Green is not visible, then how do you know it's green? True? Sachin did not give any statement, okay? Did not give any statement. Rishabh, we are not talking about Sachin. Sachin did not give any statement. Now, Mr. P made true statement that he handshook with 8%. We will have to take this as truth, okay? It means that, what does that mean? Each person have at least one handshake, right? Each person have at least one handshake except Mrs. P. So which of these 9% can have zero handshake? Tell me about this. Which of these 9% can have zero handshake? All the person have at least one handshake. Mr. Q, one handshake. One. Only one person in this party can have zero handshake. Which person that might be? Tell me. Think about this, guys. Invisible, because Anjali must be lying. It means Anjali must be lying. अंजलि का ऑलरेडी वन हैंडशेक है ना. मिसेस पी, only Mrs. P can have zero handshake. Can we say this? Only Mrs. P, not P. Only Mrs. P can have zero handshake. है ना? So Mrs. P have zero handshake. Mr. P have 8 handshake. These two are truth. Now Anjali said that she handshook with 0%, but she already have one handshake. What does that mean? What do you understand from that? Can we say Anjali must be lying here? Anjali is a liar. Okay. Gaurav, all the person have at least one handshake. You can see all the person have one handshake. Only Mrs. P have no handshake till now. So only Mrs. P can have zero handshake. No one else. Right? It means Anjali is a liar. Anjali is a liar. I hope Subman is not listening to this. So Anjali is a liar. What does that mean? If I say Anjali is a liar, what does that mean? Can you tell me what's the next interpretation you can take from this, that Anjali is a liar? Siddharth, everyone else have one handshake. Everyone else have one handshake. Only Mrs. P have zero handshake, and we know that someone must have zero handshake according to this. So that person can only be Mrs. P. All right. Yes, Mrs. P is lying, that is for sure. What else? What else you can say? What else? Mrs. R is telling the truth. That means Mrs. R is telling the truth. Mrs. R have handshaken with 7%. Right? Mrs. R have shaken hand with 7%. Okay? Mrs. R is the truth teller. Can we say this? Mrs. R have shaken hand with 7%. That is right. So let's take that into account. Mrs. R. So Mrs. R, with whom she handshook with? She cannot shook hand with Mr. R. She cannot handshook with herself, but remaining are 7. She handshook with these 7%. Okay? She handshook with these 7%. Okay? Is this clear till now? That Mrs. R did not handshook with Mr. R, Mrs. P and herself. So she has 7 handshakes. Nandika, because Mrs. R said that Anjali is lying about her number of handshakes, and we know that Anjali is lying about her handshakes. So that means Mrs. R was telling the truth, right? So now can you tell me which person can have only one handshake? Which one of these 9 person can have only one handshake? Think about this. Which one of these 9 person can have only one handshake and no one else? Think on it. Which only person can have only one handshake? Think about this. Which person can have only one handshake now? Mr. R, very good, very good. Intelligent guys. Very good. Oh my God. So all of them, Mr. P have 8 handshakes, Mr. Q already have 2 handshakes, Mr. T already have 2 handshakes, and he has said that he handshook with 6%. So it must be true. Anjali have already 2 handshakes. Mrs. P already have 0 handshakes. Mrs. Q have 2 handshakes. Mrs. R have 7 handshakes. Mrs. T have 2 handshakes already. So only person who can have only one handshake is R. So this is 1. So let's cross everything ahead of Mr. R. Okay. So now we know that. Now बताओ आगे किसका पॉइंट हम कंसीडर करेंगे? किस पर्सन को आप कंसीडर करना चाहोगे आगे? किस पर्सन को हमें आगे कंसीडर करना चाहिए? थिंक अबाउट दिस. Vishant, because we know that Anjali was lying and Mrs. R said that Anjali is lying. That means Mrs. R was telling the truth. Mr. T, yes, now we go to Mr. T. So let's go to Mr. T. देखो कैसे स्टेप बाय स्टेप चीजें क्लियर हो जाती है ना, स्टेप बाय स्टेप चीजें. मिस्टर टी हैव 6 हैंडशेक्स and he cannot shook hand with himself and Mrs. T. You will see that only exactly 6 persons are left. है ना? थोड़ा सा शर्लॉक होम्स वाली फील आ रही है. कैसे ऐसे धीरे धीरे गांठें खुल रही है ना, वन बाय वन. Gaurav, Anjali said she handshook with 0%, while you can see Anjali already have 3 handshakes. That means Anjali is lying. Sarthak, Mr. R, if you check, everyone else have at least 2 handshakes. Mr. P had 8 handshakes, that we know. Mr. Q had 2. Mr. T had 2 already. Anjali had 2 already. Mrs. Q had 2. Mrs. R have 7 handshakes. Mr. T have 2 handshakes. So only Mr. R can have 1 handshake. No one else. Okay. So now we got this. Mr. T 6 handshakes. Okay. Mr. T 6 handshakes. Now tell me, who can have exactly 2 handshakes? Who can have exactly 2 handshakes? Not more than that. Not less than that. Who can have exactly 2 handshakes? Who can have exactly 2 handshakes? Mr. P already have 8 handshakes. Mr. Q already have 3 handshakes. Mr. R already have exactly, he can have only 1 handshake. Mr. T have 6 handshakes. Anjali already have 3 handshakes. Mrs. P have 0 handshakes. Mr. Q has 3 handshakes. Mrs. R have 7 handshakes. Mrs. T have 2 handshakes. We know that 2 must be there, right? 2 must be, one of these 9 person must have exactly 2 handshakes. 8 is taken, 0 is taken, 1 is taken, 6 is taken, 7 is taken. The 2 handshakes someone can have is no one but Mrs. T. Mrs. T doesn't have any more handshakes. Like this. Okay. Mr. T, Mrs. T, we already know. Now, what's next? Now we are left with 3 persons. What are those 3 persons? So, those 3 persons are Mr. Q, Anjali and Mrs. Q. We don't know these values. We don't know. We are left with 3 numbers, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Now these 3, 4, 5 could be anyone, right? These 3, 4, 5. So let's start with Mrs. Q, if she was telling the truth. Okay. They बोलिए ना, Mrs. T can have handshakes later, but then no one will have exactly 2 handshakes. While it says in the question, everyone have different number of handshakes. So if Mrs. T cannot have 2 handshakes, then no one else will have. Tell me, if Mrs. T, if it's not Mrs. T, then who will have 2 handshakes? Because someone will have 2 handshakes, exactly. Then if not Mrs. T, then who? Tell me. Okay. So Anjali already have 3 handshakes, right? Anjali already have 3 handshakes. Think about this. If we take Mr. R का लॉजिक, Mr. R में एक टिक था, एक क्रॉस था. So Mr. R have 1 handshake till now, while everyone else have at least 2 handshake. So अगर किसी का एक हैंडशेक है, जो कि अकॉर्डिंग टू क्वेश्चन है, वो किसका हो सकता है? किसी और का नहीं, सिर्फ मिस्टर आर का. सोच के देखो, जहाँ तक मैंने 2 ही कॉलम लिखे थे, वहाँ पे किसी और का 1 हो सकता है हैंडशेक? नहीं हो सकता. सिर्फ और सिर्फ मिस्टर आर का हो सकता है, और किसी ना किसी का तो है. Okay. Now out of Mr. Q, Anjali and Mrs. Q, someone have 3 handshakes, someone have 4 handshakes, and someone have 5 handshakes. Okay. So if Anjali, let's say if Anjali have exactly 3 handshakes, what will happen? That means Anjali is not shaking hand with Mr. Q or Mrs. Q, right? That means Anjali is not shaking hand with anyone else. She is not shaking hand with Mr. Q or Mrs. Q. Okay. मिसेस टी कॉलम यही फिल कर दो ना, मिसेस टी का पी के साथ है और मिस्टर आर के साथ है. You don't need to take all the values. We don't need to complete the table. You can understand it in this way only. Okay. If Anjali have only 3 handshakes, then what will happen to Mr. Q? Mr. Q has already shook hand with Mr. P. And he cannot shook hand with Mr. R. He have already shook hand with Mr. T. He cannot shook hand with Anjali. Then he cannot shook hand with Mrs. Q. Then he cannot shook hand with Mr. R because we have already taken that into account. Okay. So here you can see the pattern. Okay. If you don't want to go further, Mr. P, Mrs. P. Total 8. Total handshakes is 8. Mr. Q and Mrs. Q. Again, total handshakes is 8. Mr. T, Mrs. T. Total handshake is 8. This is also 8. So you can also check that here, that Mr. Q and Mrs. Q total handshakes will be 8. In that case, we cannot take Mrs. Q as 4. What will happen in that? If Mrs. Q handshake with 4 person, what 4 person will that be? Okay. If you consider Mrs. Q, that Mrs. Q shook hand with 4 person, what will happen? See, Mrs. Q. Okay. Those 4 person, Mr. P we have already taken, Mr. Q won't be there, Mr. T we have already taken, Mrs. Q, this is not possible. Okay. Then left Mr. R, already we have taken that into account. So we have 3 ticks. One of them must be Anjali or Sachin. One more handshake must be Anjali or Sachin. If this is Anjali and not Sachin, or not Anjali or Sachin, so number of handshake with Mrs. Q will be 4 here. Number of hand shaken by Mrs. Q will be 4. I have taken this statement as correct. Okay. If this is 4, what will happen? Anjali will have 4 handshakes too. Then you will have to think on Q. What could happen to Q? Okay. Number of handshake with Q. Now as Anjali have 4 handshakes, he cannot have 3. She can only have 5 handshakes. For those 5 handshakes, what could that be? For Anjali, we will have to make 5 handshakes in each cases. For that, she will have to shook hand with Mr. Q, which is not possible. Because in that case, Mr. Q will also have 4 handshakes. And then Mrs. Q will also have 4 handshakes. That means Mrs. Q must be lying. That means this one is wrong. This one is wrong. We don't need to consider all this. That means Mrs. Q is lying about this number. Okay, Mrs. Q is lying about this number. She is also a liar. 4 is not possible. So only values possible for Mrs. Q is 3 or 5. For Mr. Q, it will be 5 or 3. And for Anjali, it will be exactly 4. And this is your answer. Alright. So now we can solve these questions very easily. You can also check the pattern. Mr. P plus Mrs. P. Total handshakes is 8. Mr. Q plus Mr. R plus Mrs. R. Total handshakes is 8. Mr. T plus Mrs. T. Total handshakes is 8. So after we are done with T, we will have to consider the cases for Mrs. Q. What it could be? You will see that if you take number of handshakes for Mrs. Q 4, that is not possible. If you take it 3, that case is possible. If you take 5, that case is also possible. Okay. So now we can solve this question. This is the final table. We know that P is telling the truth, Q is telling the truth, R is telling the truth, T is telling the truth. Anjali is a liar, Mrs. P is a liar, Mr. Q is a liar, Mr. R is telling the truth, Mrs. T, we don't know. So, how many of the ladies always lie? Definitely. So, how many of the ladies? Till now only 2. Answer is B. How many people did Anjali shake hands with? 4 people. What was Mr. Q's answer? Mr. Q's answer was either 3 or 5 because he is telling the truth. Men always tell the truth. For how many of the couples out of P, Q, R and T, number of handshakes of both husband and wife can be correctly determined? Number of handshakes for both. So only Mr. Q and Mrs. Q we cannot find out. Rest 3 we can find out. Which of the following did not shake hands with anyone in the party? So Mrs. P did not shake hands with anyone in the party. Alright. So you can try solving this set on your own again. This is a very interesting set. I am sure you will enjoy solving it again. जयंत, अंजलि जेंट्स नहीं है, अंजलि इज अ लेडी. ET 8 for pairs is basically a pattern that I asked you to check. You can check that. ये ऐसे डेटा बन गया कि वो पैटर्न हमें दिख रहा है कि नंबर ऑफ हैंड शेक्स बाय. यस, अंजलि इज अ लेडी. अंजलि, बट अंजलि इज लाइंग. So we counted 1 second. Anjali, okay, this should be 3. Okay. Sorry. First answer should be C. Yes, question 1 में 3 होगा. I'm really sorry about that. Anjali, Mrs. P and Mrs. Q are definitely lying. So basically the motive of this set was, whenever you are thinking there is no way, you should be starting. See, if you keep your mind open all the time, you should be thinking Mr. P is always telling the truth and Mr. P shook hand with 8 person. You should be finding how 8 handshakes are possible. There are 10 persons in the party. One cannot shake hand with himself or her wife. So remaining person, that's it. वहाँ से एक एक करके सारे धागे खुल गए, है ना. चलो, let's go to the next set. I will ask all of you to try this set again. You will definitely enjoy it. Okay, let's try this one. So time to discuss this set now. It says a famous actress organized a dinner and invited a few of her friends. Only the host and the hostess were sitting at the opposite ends of a rectangular table with 3 persons along each side. So table is like this. Host and hostesses are sitting here. Okay, host and hostesses are sitting here and 3 persons on each side. Okay, now it says the prerequisite for the sitting arrangement was that each person must be seated such that at least on one side it has person of opposite sex. So basically it cannot be men or women. It cannot be 3 men altogether or 3 women altogether. Right? Then it says Rohit is opposite of Shefali, who is not the hostess. So Rohit is opposite of Shefali and Shefali is not hostess. Next it says Ashwin has a woman on his right and is sitting opposite to a woman. So there is a woman and Ashwin has a woman on his right. Okay. Now Dipti is sitting to the hostess right next to Shubham. So we can take any of these 2 places as host and hostess. So let's say if this is host and this is hostess. So Dipti is sitting to the hostess right. So Dipti will be here and next to Subman. So Subman must be here. Okay, next to Subman, hostess is here. One person is sitting between Anushka and Yastika, who is not the hostess. Yastika is not the hostess. Shefali is not hostess. So Yastika is not hostess. And one person is sitting between Anushka and Yastika. Yastika is not hostess. The men are Rohit, Ashwin, Subman and Virat, while the women were Anushka, Yastika, Shefali and Dipti. So now let's think about this. Where we can put Rohit and Shefali? So the only place you can put Rohit and Shefali will be here. Okay. So Rohit or Shefali or Rohit will be here. Opposite, because these 2 are opposite to each other. Okay, now next woman, Ashwin, women. Where is it possible? Where you can put Ashwin? You can put Ashwin here or here or here, right? Ashwin. So woman, Ashwin, woman. Right of Ashwin, there is a woman. So Dipti is here, Ashwin here. So right of Ashwin must be hostess. Can we say this? Okay. Ashwin has a woman on his right and is sitting opposite of a woman. Okay. So in that case we can put Ashwin here. And opposite of Ashwin there is a woman. Right of Ashwin it's hostess, which is a woman. Dipti is here. Ashwin and Shefali is here. Yastika is not the hostess. Shefali is also not the hostess. So the only possibility is Anushka is here. Okay. Now host is here. Can we say Subman, Rohit, host? There will be 3 men. In that case Rohit won't have at least 1 person on one side of this. So can we say this cannot be Rohit? So this must be Shefali. So Shefali must be here and Rohit must be here. Okay. Now what's left? Rohit, Ashwin, Subman, Virat. So Rohit we have taken, Ashwin we have taken, Subman we have taken. This host must be Virat. And the one person who is Yastika must be here. So now our arrangement is complete. Okay. Now our arrangement is complete. So let's go to the questions. Okay. Okay. So it says the eighth person present, Virat, must be the host, which is true. This one is true. Seated to the Cephali's right, which is also true. Seated opposite of Yastika, not true. So 1 and 2 only. C. Which of the following persons is definitely not seated next to a person of same sex? Which of the following person is definitely not seated next to the same sex? So Rohit, if you talk about Rohit, is sitting with Virat, which is same sex. Anushka, Dipti and Ashwin, Virat, Cephali and Rohit. This is also not possible. If you talk about Cephali, this is male, and this is female. So answer is D. Okay. Next, if Ashwin would have exchanged seat with a person 4 places to his left, Ashwin 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Ashwin exchanged seat with Cephali. Which of the following would have been true after? So let's put Ashwin here and let's put Cephali here. So no one seated between two persons of opposite sex. No one seated between, that means example, no man was seated between two women. So no one seated between two persons of opposite sex. So Virat, Yastika, there is a person. These two are opposite sex. Okay. So definitely this one is not true, right? One side of the table consists entirely person of the same sex. 1 second. No one seated between two persons of the opposite sex. Which of the following would have been true after the exchange? No one seated between two persons of the opposite sex. So okay. So basically we need to check that for each person, the two person, like for Ashwin it's Subham, Subman and Virat. Okay. So this is true. As per this is true. For Virat, Rohit and Ashwin, this is also, this statement true. For Rohit is seated between two persons of opposite sex. Right. So this statement, it says, which of the following would have been true after the exchange? No one seated between two persons of the opposite sex. So this statement, first statement is not true. Rohit is sitting between two persons of opposite sex. Okay. Cephali is not sitting between two persons of opposite sex. Anushka is not sitting between two persons of opposite sex. But Dipti is sitting between two persons of opposite sex. Subman is also sitting between two persons of opposite sex. Now, one side of the table consisted entirely of persons of the same sex. One side of the table. Okay. ठीक है. Consisted entirely of the person of same sex. So we can say this side, if we talk, Ashwin, Subman, Dipti, Rohit, Yastika, Cephali, not true. Either the host or the hostess change their seats. I guess all the statements are little confusing, right? All men are on one side. Okay, yes. Second, one side of the table consists entirely of the person same sex. Second statement is true. Third is not true. So B. One side means in this case, otherwise no option will be correct. But in this case, one side means this. These four persons are sitting on one side. Women are sitting on other side. So second statement is true. First statement is true. How? No one seated between two persons of opposite sex. Okay. So basically it should be no one seated between two persons of opposite sex, means female, male, female, or male, female, male. These should be true. Now let's see if this is possible or not. Okay. So male, 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 so male, female, 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 female. Okay, so basically we don't see this case as per statement 1. Okay, statement as per statement 1, statement 1 is true. No one seated between two persons of opposite sex. Means we don't see this arrangement or this arrangement here. We don't see this or this arrangement here. So that's why we can say that this one is true. Statement 1 is true. Okay. So in that case, all right, is this clear to everyone why statement 1 is true? Yes. Option A, correct. 1 only, because then we will take one side, means either this side or this side. Okay, as no options were getting corrected, I had taken option 1 wrong. In that case I was taking this consider as one side, but now as we know this one is correct, answer will be A only. Question number 4, it says if each person is placed directly opposite of her spouse, which of the following pair must be married? So Ashwin and Dipti, Ashwin, Dipti, this must be married, this is possible. Anushka and Subman, not possible. Yastika and Virat, not possible. Ashwin and Anushka, not possible. So answer is option A. Alright. So answer for third and fourth both is A. ET side of table is confusing phrase. No, that is very clear phrase. This side they are talking about either this side or this side. I was forced to taking into this because there was no option like none of these or something, and I had taken option 1 wrong. That is my bad. Okay, so I was forced to take this, but once we know that option 1 is correct, we don't need to consider this true, because then one side will be either this side or this side, not like this curve. Okay. Okay. Now, are you guys aware of cards? Any idea about cards? How many of you like have no idea about cards? Like how many cards in a deck? Okay. Like LRDI of last set, as per taking question into consideration, it will be 3 out of 5. These days people don't play cards that much, so I'm sure there must be some of you who are not aware of cards. So to help you guys, these are 52 cards in a deck. Okay, 52 cards in a deck. There are 4 different kind of suits. These are known as suits. Okay, clubs will have 13 cards, diamonds will have 13 cards, hearts will have 13 cards, and spades will also have 13 cards. These clubs and spades both are known as black cards. Black cards. Diamonds and hearts known as red cards, while these 3 known as face cards. Face cards. These 3 Jack, Queen, King known as face cards. 2 to 10 known as numbered cards. 2 to 10 known as numbered cards. Okay. So just look at it. These are the 52 cards where you have suits. These are known as suits. There are 4 suits: clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades. Alright, so this is an example of 52 cards in a deck. So look at it if you are not aware of cards, because next set is based on cards. Okay, and it's not difficult, but it could be difficult for you if you don't know about these cards. Now, as I said, these are same suits. These are same suits. Like 3 of diamond, we call this card as 3 of diamond. This is known as 5 of diamond. This card will be known as 4 of spade. This is known as 6 of spade. 10 of spades, 6 of spade, 10 of spades are of same suits. Alright. Ace of diamond and 3 of hearts are of same color. 4 of club, 3 of spades, same color cards. Both are black cards. Okay. So clear? If this is clear, then try this set. Is known as honor card. Ace is not number card or face card. Ace is known as honor card. चलो डिस्कस करते हैं इसे अब। So it says recently Rupak spent his winter vacation on Miami. During the vacation he visited the local casino where he came across a new card game. Two players using a normal deck of 52 playing cards play this game. One player is called the dealer and other is known the player. So there is a player who is none other than Rupak and there is a dealer, right? And now it says this is called, first the player picks a card at random from the deck. This is called the base card. The amount in rupees equal to the face value of the base card. Face value of the base card is called the base amount. The face values of the ace, king, queen, jack are 10. For other cards, the face value is the number of cards, numbers on the cards. Okay. Once the player picks a card from the deck, the dealer pays him the base amount. Then the dealer picks a card from the deck and this card is called the top card. The top card is of same suit as the base card. The player pays twice the base amount to the dealer. If the top card is of same color as the base card but not the same suit, then the player pays base amount to the dealer. So if you have picked a club and the dealer have picked a spade, the dealer will pay you the same amount as base amount. If the top card is of same color as the base card but not the same suit, then player pays base amount to the dealer. Now if the top card happens to be a different color than base card, the dealer pays the base amount to the player. So this is the case. Okay, you are picking a card. Okay, you are picking a card. Let's say it's 2 of diamond. So the dealer will pay you 2 rupees. Now if dealer picks 3 of diamond, the player is going to pay 2 into 2, 4 rupees to the dealer, means a total loss of 2 rupees. If dealer picks 3 of hearts, means same color, red color, then the player is going to pay him 2 rupees, the base amount. And if dealer picks any of the black card, not the red card, then dealer is going to pay you the base amount, which is 2 rupees. So Rupak played the game 4 times. First time he picked 8 of club, and the dealer picked queen of club. Now second time he picked 10 of hearts, and the dealer picked 2 of spades. Next time Rupak picked 6 of diamond, and the dealer picks ace of heart. Lastly he picked 8 of spades, and the dealer picks jack of spades. This is the total game. Now let's see what is happening here. So these two are same suit, right? So first he will get paid 8 rupees. Now the dealer is getting same suit card, so he will have to pay 16 rupees to the dealer. So the result is 8 minus 16 means 8 rupees loss to the player, to Rupak. Next, he is getting 10 of hearts, so he will get paid 10 rupees. Dealer is getting 2 of spade, not the same color, not the same suit. So dealer will pay him the base amount again. So total profit in this case will be 20 rupees for the player Rupak. In the third game, he picked 6 of diamonds, so he will get paid 6 rupees. The dealer picks ace of heart, which is of same color as diamond, so he will have to pay dealer 6 rupees. So overall 6 minus 6 result is 0 rupees in this game. Last time Rupak picked 8 of spades, so he will get paid 8 rupees by the dealer. But as dealer has picked jack of spades, he will have to pay twice the amount to the dealer, which is minus 16 rupees. So 8 minus 16, which is equal to minus 8 rupees. So loss of 8 rupees here. So what happens? He was in 8 rupees loss after first game. First game loss. There is a loss of 8 rupees. After second game. After second game. 20 rupees profit and 8 rupees loss. Total profit of 12 rupees. After third game, it was minus 8 plus 20 plus 0, which is again profit of 12 rupees. And after fourth game, it will be profit of 12 rupees minus 8, which is 4 rupees profit. Okay, this is the case. Yes, he can stop. Ishan, it doesn't say in the question, not here, but in the question it says, if Rupak stopped playing the game when his gain would be maximized, the gain would have been, so maximum was profit 12 rupees. So gain was 12 rupees. If the final amount of money that Rupak had with him was 100 rupees, what was the initial amount? So final amount 100, 4 rupees profit, so he had 96 rupees initial. The initial money Rupak had before the beginning of the game session was X rupees. At no point did he have to borrow any money. What is the minimum possible value of X? So he was at max 8 rupees loss. So those 8 rupees he must have had in the initially, at least 8 rupees. So minimum amount possible is 8. Okay. So this was not a difficult question. What was difficult is you have been given a situation. Okay. You have been given a different case you have never heard of. You have been given a game, a strategic game that you have never seen, and it happens during exams that you will be given a case study which have you never practiced. Okay, but you will have to solve question based on that. So that's why I had included this set, that even if you are not aware of cards, can you solve this? Okay, so little bit you should be aware of everything. So I tried to include one of the best sets possible in DI and in LR also, where you could have understood the approach, not difficulty level. This session was not focused on difficulty level. This session was focused on approach, how you should approach towards LR and DI sets. So I hope you understood, and this session was fruitful to you guys. And in case any problem, you can rewind, you can go to that particular set and check the solutions. Okay. Yes, this can be called a puzzle set. Tushar, also a caslet. Question 7 kya tha? What was question 7? If the final amount, see, he had 4 rupees profit in the end, right? He had 4 rupees profit in the end. The final amount with him is 100. So he must have started with 96 rupees. So 96 plus 4 is 100. Okay. Aryan, yes, we will have session. We will keep doing sessions. Okay. Other than that, if you are really looking forward to improve and boost in your preparation, just join us in CAT crash course. Okay. This 2 months will be rigorous practice. If you don't have time for practice, then don't join us. Okay. If you can give time, if you have all the time to practice, if you want to boost your preparation, give us this opportunity to help you. Okay. We are really good at it, and we have lots of fresh contents that we have created only for as per seeing new pattern of CAT. So I will see you guys in the next class. Till then, I hope your session was fruitful. you enjoyed it, and you learned some new method, and everything was as you expected from this session. Let me know your feedback in the comment. That's it for today, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.